The Hulk is probably one of the most traumatic characters. As a character, he has always been perceived from the public as someone who is out of control. I mean, can you blame them? I wouldn't want to be around the Hulk myself either. You say goodbye to your family and you start driving to work. And then all of a sudden, boom! The ground crumbles and you fall to your death. All because the Hulk got a little angry about a little white lie. I will say it was a reasonable crash out. But the point is, the Hulk in a lot of stories, the public deems him as a very dangerous threat. Yet with all that anger, all that rage, the Hulk tries to prove he can be a hero. That he isn't such a monster. But how much of the betrayal, hatred, and backlash can the Hulk take? It's reasonable for why the Hulk persona just wants to be left alone. The Hulk has been through so much, why give humanity a chance worth saving? It's better to be left alone than be treated as a monster. Well, for the Hulk persona, he somewhat gets his wish when the whole human population is wiped out. Except, there's only one person around, and this person happens to be the person the Hulk hates the most. The person that he can't stand to be around. Dr. Bruce Banner. The story The Incredible Hulk, The End, written by Peter David and Dale Keown, the story is about Bruce Banner and the Hulk being the last people on Earth. Marvel had a thing called the End series, with many Marvel characters having their what-if ending for their story. This is what Peter David has written for his conclusion for the Hulk, which is like the perfect writer for the story as he made big contributions towards the Hulk. This story handles the dynamic between Hulk and Bruce Banner in a situation where they're at odds with each other, and it leads on how they actually need each other. The story starts with Bruce Banner wandering off in the wasteland. This story is mostly a monologue with Bruce Banner. He talks about how he misses what the world used to be like. He sometimes would speak out loud to hear his own voice. He would talk out loud to the vidbot that would follow him everywhere. Bruce explains that he feels cold and that he's dying very soon. He wants to die, but the Hulk won't allow it. Bruce described that the Hulk never feels cold or any remorse. He only feels anger. When it hits nightfall, we see the Hulk wander around talking about how much he hates Bruce Banner. He just wants Banner out of his mind and to leave him alone. It's daylight and Bruce Banner continues to wander off. The air is so dense with radiation, but Bruce has gotten used to it due to the Hulk's gamma's energy. Bruce Banner starts to shake in fear when he hears a swarm of plastic wings chasing him. He tries to outrun the swarm of gigantic cockroaches, but he trips, losing his footing. This would bring out the Hulk, and he would try his best to fight off against the bugs. But unfortunately, it would be too much for him as he was overpowered and the bugs would rip him out alive. It would take Hulk 18 minutes to regenerate back to health. Bruce Banner walks across monuments of the most famous heroes of the Marvel Universe. The heroes of Earth were giving a memorial for their service for the Earth and Outer Wars. There's not a lot of context about these wars, it's just happened to be part of the story. This would lead to Bruce explaining how the Earth ended up like this. It turns out a very rogue group used nuclear weapons to drop a bomb on the Earth, which basically caused a chain reaction with more bombings clearing the Earth. The only thing that would be left was plants and bugs that became larger. The Hulk, of course, was able to survive, and the Hulk was actually pleased with it, as he thought that it was satisfying the humans were actually destroying each other. The only thing Hulk cares about is being the strongest one there is and being alone. As the bombings continued, the Hulk decided to distance himself and go back to the cave he was born in Las Vegas. As time passed on, Bruce Banner is approached by a robot. This robot explained to Bruce that he was the last human on Earth. The machine's purpose was to record the demise of humanity at the request of the Kree and the Skrulls. They believe humans to be the most troubling species in the entire universe. I mean, can we really blame them? The Hulk, Kree, Skrulls, any other alien civilization, you can't blame them for hating humans. We all suck. The machine tells Bruce Banner that it will leave a vidbot behind to watch Bruce Banner die. This revelation being the only human left, Bruce actually tried to die many times. But the many attempts would fail because the Hulk refused to let him. The Hulk believes that if he dies, so will the Hulk. This would be the cause of the conflicting feud between Bruce and the Hulk. The Hulk sees Bruce as weak and a nuisance, just wanting to be alone. Bruce is seen sitting in his cave and he suddenly sees a naked woman. He imagines himself a lot younger and spending time with her. Bruce would wake up from this when the woman said we could be gods. The dream he experienced was the peace that he was looking for. Bruce wants to die, to start over, because dying is the only way he can ever find peace for himself. He starts to feel an ache in his chest. He's sweating and he feels like he's on the verge of dying. The Hulk sees what he's trying to do, to fight back against Bruce's resistance to die. As the two are battling each other mentally, Bruce starts to hallucinate seeing his family and friends again. He even sees the Avengers and other heroes and he wants to join them in peace. The Hulk sees that the heart attack is growing larger, trying to stop Bruce from trying to do whatever he can to die. Bruce tries to convince to let the Hulk go. He could see his family and his friends again, to get the peace that they are both looking for. But the Hulk refuses, only wanting to be left alone. That's all the Hulk wants. After the feuding battle between them, the Hulk was then able to clear Banner out of his mind. If the Hulk was to change back into Bruce, he would die. For a second, Hulk is actually glad Bruce is gone. He finally got what he wished for. To be the strongest one there is, and to be alone. He must always win against those who are against him. But then we see Hulk's final words. Hulk feels cold. And we see the vidbot behind him as the Hulk just sits there. If you remembered in the beginning of the story, Bruce said that Hulk never feels cold or remorse. He only feels anger. At this moment, the Hulk is changing back into Bruce, which will mean this will be the end for Bruce and the Hulk. There's also a subtle change with the text box that goes from green to blue, which is Bruce Banner's monologue. Lots of fans also speculate that even though the Hulk was glad Bruce was gone and that he was finally able to be alone, he realized at that moment how lonely he truly was. This shows how much the Hulk actually needed Bruce. Peter David really highlights how important their dynamic is and that they can't live without each other. By being the only strongest one there is, where is the peace in that? The Hulk said that he finds friends and family to be weak and that they hold him back. But he doesn't realize, with Banner, it's what makes him whole. Sometimes we have to be careful for what we wish for. Every time I read this story, it's just so depressing to just go through. I imagine this as like the true conclusion of the Hulk. Even if we're specifically talking about Peter's David Hulk, this would be like my favorite conclusion for the Hulk's character. The Hulk could only thrive by anger and rage because the whole world hated him, so he hated them back. He tried to prove he was the strongest one there is, to be alone, but without Bruce Banner, there is no Hulk. Two sides of the same coin. The Hulk now feels cold.